Hello and welcome to
Red, White, and Bi.
I'm Ash.
And I'm Hannah, and you are listening to the recording of episode 25.
No,
No?
26.
No, you checked. You
Yeah,
told
I
me
checked
25.
and it's 26. We've already done 25.
Guys, this is the state we're in. We have so many episodes we can't even keep track, and I'm fact-checking as we speak.
You really want to leave this in, or do you want to just
I don't care. I
re-record
think
it?
it's funny. 6%. Oh my god, she's right. Why do I even question her? Of course she's right. It's 26.
The reason I know it's 25 is because I edited it and I typed it.
And the reason I don't is because we were so drunk last time.
We were blitzed.
Guys, I'm sorry. I don't want to listen to me talk for an hour and a half drunk. If you listen to it, God bless you.
And no shade to people who like this, and no shade to people who record these things. But those long form podcasts, I don't know how anybody can listen to them all the way through. Like a Rogan podcast that you listen to in a single day. Do people do that?
I have a long form podcast that I like, and I listen to it on my commute, and so I'll turn it on. And then however far I get when I get to work, I turn it off. And it's just like a running dialogue because I listen to back-to-back episodes anyway. So for me, it's kind of just like a radio show that never ends. And I pick it up when I feel like it.
I think what makes yours a little bit different is that they cover stories that have happened in the past. So I feel like if you were listening to something like our show or Rogan where they might be talking about something that's happening in the present,
A little more topical.
if it took forever to get through it, I just can't.
I might be misremembering. That's a very real possibility. But I'm pretty sure somebody I used to know listened to the Rogan podcast, and his episodes would be 4 hours,
Yeah.
3.5, 4 hours, and it would be a weekend of that shit playing in the house. And I like the Joe Rogan show. I enjoy him as an interviewer. I think he's a really interesting guy, and I like his opinions. And I think he's a pretty fair host. But that's too much.
Yeah, my favorite person on the planet besides Hannah might be Ben Shapiro. And
on some days, he is the favorite.
no, it was his birthday yesterday, though.
I know, because you made a temporary profile picture of him showing off his guns, and every time I try to message you, it's who is this asshole on my... Oh, it's my wife.
Oh, well, I love Ben Shapiro, and I can't listen to his whole show.
He's got an intense way of speaking, too.
Well, yeah, definitely. And it's so fast, and now people are doing this weird thing that I hate, where they speed up whoever is talking,
Yeah.
including Ben Shapiro.
Ooh.
It's don't do that.
Ben Shapiro comes pre-sped.
He's already 4 times normal speed, so you don't have to...
Yeah, when people listen to shows
Do
and
that.
books at 1.5 times, it's
How are
what
you
is the
absorbing
point?
any of this?
Yeah, is it a race? What? You don't get a prize for finish? Whatever.
To Hannah's point, maybe it's this show is so long, you better speed that shit up.
And then if you're not enjoying it, then don't.
Yeah, what's the point?
Are we promoting our own show, or what is the opposite of it, of promoting our own show? I feel like we're detracting.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're not really telling people that our show sucks, but we are saying that last episode was pretty long, and we won't normally do that to you guys.
It was pretty long. If you liked that, if maybe you're surprised to find that you like a intense 90-minute drunken barrage of comments about the world at large, let us know. I think generally we'll try to keep it shorter because poor Ash does edit these herself. So,
But maybe we'll just get drunker next time if you prefer us sauced.
I'm not responsible for what I say if I get any drunker than that. Speaking of which, we are having one drink for this show. What do you got there, Ash?
I have my old standby. It is Blackberry Crown and lemon with some orange bitters this time, and Sprite.
Nice. I tried to get a little creative. I have some citrus gin, a little bit of carbonated cherry flavored water. I think I put cherry bitters in there, and some lemon juice. It's decent. It's a gin drink.
Nice.
I needed something lighter. I've been hitting the old fashions like during the holiday season, and I needed like not brown liquor.
I probably shouldn't even be drinking this. My ulcers are acting up. I should go back to the rum, but...
As my brother-in-law's... I don't even know what he is to him. My brother-in-law's nephew would say, you gotta die from something.
Oh, okay.
So, do what you love, basically.
I don't even like drinking that much.
Well, you like podcasting. So, let's get to it, shall we?
Yeah.
What's going on this week, Ash?
Not anything that should be going on.
I think I got emotional when we first talked about it, and then last week I sort of started hedging my bets, and this week I'm sorry to say that what I feared absolutely has come true. We have written in our notes here, Iran is a nothing burger.
And I felt like a crazy person because I had been telling people he's not going to do anything. Trump is not going to do anything. And then just before I went to bed, they said the Iranian airspace was clearing, that, you know, an attack was imminent. There were memes about how many pizza orders there were going to the Pentagon, and I was overwhelmed by my false hope. I slept like a baby thinking that we were going to bomb Iran, and that I was wrong. I basked in my wrongness. And then I woke up and I posted the Jeff Goldblum meme from Jurassic Park. Oh boy, do I hate being right all the time.
Yeah, I didn't say it at the time, and like not to be like this. Like, I feel like this makes me sound like an asshole. But when you told me the pizza thing about the pizza deliveries to the Pentagon, that's when I had my first like, oh fuck moment. Like, that's not gonna happen, because I feel like it's a known fact, you know, the correlation to like delivered pizzas to the Pentagon and like impending strikes that night on like whomever. Historically, that's the correlation. But I think that has become such a known thing that I feel like they know that people know it, and so now it's like a red herring. Like, I don't think that'll ever necessarily be true again. Like, it's another piece of information that they have to control. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Like, it felt if me, a suburban blue collar Michigan nobody, knows the correlation between pizza deliveries to the Pentagon and military action, then they're 10 steps ahead by that point, and they're already doing something different. That's how I felt. So heartbreaking. It's we're getting reports of protesters, revolutionaries, whatever you want to call them, just being slaughtered by the thousands, executed.
And we're learning that our military was hit with dirty bombs that were, you know, laced with all kinds of chemicals prior to striking Iran last time. So it's not just that they're a regime that is slaughtering their own people. They're brutal at every step, and they've done that to the United States. And the idea that you could make peace with people who call you like a great devil, or, you know, say death to America, is one thing. But if they're willing to just mow down their own people, you really think you can make peace with people that obviously don't value human life at all?
I saw a really saddening headline, and I can't even remember the source, so like take it with a grain of salt, but like basically saying that the protests, demonstrations have all but stopped. And I don't blame the people one bit. Like, they were incredibly brave, and like bravery doesn't feel like a big enough word for what they were doing. So intensely like principled and brave, whatever you want to call it. But I don't blame them for wanting to preserve life. I mean, you have to. You can't ever live to see changes or live to see a different way to make changes if you're just shot down in the street.
And I'm seeing posts from Iranian expats or people who have fled where they are comparing Trump to Obama for saying, help is on the way, keep protesting. How many people died because they thought help was coming that just isn't coming? How many people died because a Western leader, too, in fact, said, keep protesting, like, we're on your side?
Yeah, I'm heartbroken that this is happening, period. And then to be in the country whose leader is just forsaking these people, like, may as well be pulling the trigger himself, in my opinion. And that's the flag under which I sit. I'm so sad.
To me, the only thing worse is that Obama basically funded things like this with our taxpayer dollars. Billions of dollars went to this evil regime. And I'm not saying either of these guys did anything good, but I don't blame people for the comparison. I would say the red line that Trump drew, saying, like, if you keep killing protesters, we're going to stop you, was in line with what Obama did in Syria. Like, that to me seems like the greater comparison. But both of the presidents fucked over Iran. They fucked over the Persians.
When I think about all those people in the videos we were talking about and sharing, the first one that comes to mind is the woman who lit a picture of the Ayatollah on fire and lit her cigarette with it and then dropped it on the ground and gave it the finger. Like, it was such a powerful statement and demonstration. And then for it to have gone viral the way it did, and people were making, like, pop art out of it and stuff, and she became, like, a face for what was going on there for a second. Like, I think about her specifically, like, she's a person and she lives there. And, like, people know who she is. Like, is she even alive right now? Is she gonna be alive in a week? I'm really heartsick. And I know you are too, Asha, but, like, man, like, it's been a minute since I've been this disappointed in the government.
I am just angry.
I'm angry.
And what's really weird to me, because we talk all the time about this biased news coverage or even stuff that's being put out there that maybe goes beyond bias and straight to propaganda. Alex Jones isn't a beacon of truth necessarily, but he had a woman on who is effectively a known tool of the regime saying that women don't have to cover their hair there. And it's pretty clear that he believed her. At the same time as we have daughters of some of these Iranian leaders going on national television in America saying that there are hits out on them, that they're killing their own children. And
I did see that, yeah, that government officials are killing their own children.
At the same time as the President of the United States is saying that these executions have stopped, that people are not being arrested or killed in the streets, we're getting word on X that people are being killed at even greater levels than anything we've ever seen. So it's like, what do you believe? Is it somewhere in the middle, or is everybody lying to us?
I think it's really concerning right now, especially that it's like Iran is still dark. Like, there's still like no internet, or the communication is really like scant. So I guess anybody can say whatever they want to make themselves feel better in that silence. But eventually, I mean, and this just occurred to me, maybe eventually it won't come back on again. Maybe this is Iran now. Like, maybe they're just unplugged. And that's even sadder. And
I know that there was some suggestion that Elon Musk will provide them with internet using Starlink. But I had heard that had already happened, and then at the same time, I'm also hearing that there's no internet.
Well, you need infrastructure on the ground, you need hardware, and you need, like, even if you could, like, arrange it from the sky, if you will, like, there's not boots on the ground to install it for people, to give them the receivers and stuff, right?
Yeah, and if these people are marching in the streets, could you really charge your phone? I did see an X account from Iran where the original poster had posted a GIF of the Pianist, wherein Adrian Brody had hidden himself and was walking by the aftermath of what Nazis did, and he just walked past bodies and is just crying, and the Iranian poster said, "I'm hard relating to this right now."
Oh, I'm sure there's bodies in the street, and I'm sure it's on purpose too. I'm sure it's like, we're going to execute X amount of people, and we're going to take our time doing anything with the bodies.
Yeah, it's
demonstration.
It's absurd to me that you have an opportunity to make Iran a Western country, basically control the Middle East with Western values, and not only do you not take it, but now you form a board of peace whose members are not yet announced, but who I have a sneaking suspicion maybe Iran might be one of them.
Whoa, okay. Time out. Let's establish what we're talking about here. The Board of Peace is like, the story is unfolding as we speak. Like, we're getting like tweets within last several minutes. Explain a little bit of some foundation here, what we're talking about.
So I originally saw, it's a tweet from Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of Trump, who had been instrumental supposedly in brokering a peace deal in the first administration. Now, Trump had shared this on Truth Social, that there's going to be a board of peace. He's going to be the chairman, and it's the most important board that ever existed in the history of boards. I wish I was exaggerating how he is laying that out, but it's really not an exaggeration.
Yeah, it comes as a surprise to no one.
That the members are soon to be announced, and he always points out at the end, like, thank you for, what was the thing you hate him saying? Thank you for your attention in this matter. Sorry. But it's bullshit to me to see this when I'm not a war hawk and I don't want war with Iran at all. But if you bomb them and you bomb Qatar, frankly, you should put the fear of God into them. You know, like Reagan bombed Gaddafi's house and then we didn't hear anything out of Yemen for decades. Mm-hmm. So why can't you have a spine and actually do what you promised to do and send help?
I don't understand the long game there, like with the optics of like, hey, we're going to help you, hang in there. And then you must have known on some level that you weren't going to do anything. So, like, what was gained by that? Do you think, in your opinion? Like, let's speculate wildly, because that's part of the show.
I think it's not a lie. A lot of people told me when they thought that Trump was going to do something that he messes with people, that he does this back and forth, and that he might, use a psyop when he's going to do a big move. But the thing is, that can go either way.
But what's the big move here? I mean, like, what is it a red herring for? That's what I don't understand. Like, say that and, like, it's an opportunity cost, right? Like, you're saying something, you're putting up a big bluff, you're drawing attention. To what end? What is it that you're getting away with?
My thought is, it's possible that he scared them because he wanted to show them, I could do this at any time. So we're going to enter a negotiation, and it's going to go my way, or it won't go your way. However, he is now blowing smoke up the Ayatollah's ass, complimenting him, thanking him on Truth Social. God. And he does this.
It's disgusting.
It is.
It's disgusting. I'm so embarrassed.
It's embarrassing. Kaya Willis is somebody that I like and respect, and that's exactly how she put it. That this is disgusting and embarrassing. Like, you could have quoted her tweet, Hannah. And to me, doing this with Khomeini and doing this with dictators out of North Korea or Putin, you might think this is my art of the deal, I stroke you and then I slap you thing. But it's like, this is public. You're blowing smoke up an evil dictator's ass, and we all have to watch you do it.
We all have to watch you do it, and so do the, like, think of all the people you fucked over. Like, it's no exaggeration to say, like, you cost lives. People banked on you helping. You're not just talking to the Ayatollah when you say shit like that. Like, oh, you know, when you throw around, like, empty threats about taking action if he doesn't change his mind, you're not just speaking to him. You're speaking to, was it something like 15,000 people who made calculated risks, maybe because of your words.
Yeah. And I think this is interesting to point out, too. Maybe this Board of Peace will have nothing to do with Iran and everything to do with Gaza. Maybe it's the phase 2 of the Gaza plan, and maybe it's even a distraction from what's going on in Iran. However, the timing is weird, it's gross, and I don't like it. It, gives me the ick, as the kids say.
As the kids say.
But I have an interesting question for Hannah. We haven't discussed this at all. I just thought about what would Hannah think about this? And I have an opinion, which you may or may not agree with. So I'd like to know your thoughts.
Okay, shoot.
So I think it's possible that there are two different kinds of peace that happen naturally between people or countries. Mm-hmm. So let's say Trump is not the president. Let's say we have a totally normal-ass president. Let's go back to Bush Sr. for that one.
Yeah, can we say that? Let's say that.
And Bush Sr. wants Greenland.
Oh, okay, yep.
So he wants Greenland. And I feel like there's two different ways to go about a beef with rational people and maybe an irrational person. So let's say he wants Greenland and Greenland's like, I don't really want you to annex us. Fuck off. If he approaches Greenland with like, this is what you stand to gain from this. It's a negotiation. It's all kindly and two rational bodies come to the table and they talk about things and then they broker a compromise. That's one way a peace could happen.
Okay.
But in my opinion, that requires rational people who are both negotiating in good faith. Mm-hmm. And then the other kind of peace might be you strong arm the person, but there's some respect there. You don't have to go to war with them or anything like that. But maybe you're like Teddy Roosevelt and you kind of like rattle some cages and you get your way and the other person is a little bit scared of you, that there's a little bit of respect there. But we are where we are. It's chill now and we're just letting it go. What Trump is doing, in my opinion, though, is the same kind of thing that Biden would have done or Obama would have done, where it's appeasement to the nth degree, and you end up with the worst of both worlds, where there's no respect, and you really don't get what you promised or what you intended to begin. I wonder if you, as somebody who had a completely different view of the world, you know, a few years ago, think that's a good assessment, or maybe there's some flaws in what I'm saying.
Well, if you're asking if I think he's handling it deftly, like,
well,
no.
No, I know that, but I guess I'm wondering if you believe that it's possible to do like the peace through strength. I maybe scare the shit out of you a little bit, but then we can like get along, or if that's too war hawkish.
I mean, in terms of Greenland, I don't think that we need to scare them. I don't think that... I mean, we were talking about this earlier tonight. Like, if it's important to you to have a military base in Greenland, if it's crucial to your foreign policy to have your own military base in Greenland and to keep Russia and China out, cool, fine. It's very important. Approach it carefully because it's crucial. Treat it like it's crucial. Have some meetings, keep it quiet, have some fucking like grace and diplomacy and some bartering. Like, look, you already won. It's the United States of America. I mean, it could be argued that we certainly don't hold all the cards we used to, but I think we still hold the most cards. Like, if we want something, we have every tool we need to get it. You don't need to be like this blustering, bullshitting, maybe I'm bluffing, maybe I'm not bully. And in fact, I think that's a great way to draw attention to your, so-called crucial plan that has to work out a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have some fucking finesse, man.
Yeah, and
I think you should absolutely be getting your way, and you have all the tools you need to do that without being a buffoon or being a war hawk. You don't need to scare them.
Yeah, I guess what's interesting about what you're saying is I think it brings some attention to the idea that we give so many countries foreign aid. Mm-hmm. Imagine how much negotiating power we would have if we didn't do that. Imagine how much money we could throw at Greenland if we just wanted to buy it.
Or like whatever. I don't know much about Greenland. Mm-hmm. I'll admit that. But like, I don't think they probably have the strongest economy in the world. I don't think they probably have the most tourism that they could be enjoying right now. There's probably a lot of things we could offer them that they just simply are too small and too remote to enjoy.
But instead, to Hannah's point, Trump's been a bastard about this the entire time. Mm-hmm. He's been like threatening them, joking about it, and now he's not joking or whatever. And the White House official page is posting memes about like you can go down this rough road with storms and lightning bolts that'll take you to Russia or China, or you can come to the White House with a sunny day. Those are your only choices.
Yeah, something tells me if this is such a strategic location that everybody wants it, that Greenland isn't motivated to let anyone buy it from them. They don't want us taking it. They're not going to want China or Russia. There's no reason they would prefer them over us. So, like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they have a choice to make. Like, oh, well, I would really love it if Russia and or China were world powers. Like, I don't think that's like a consideration that they're laboring under. Yeah,
and I feel like you wouldn't necessarily have to be threatening about it, even if you explained it. Like, listen, we think Russia or China is going to try to annex you. They're going to try to take you. Would you prefer it if we gave you a bunch of money and made you part of the United States instead? Or, like, you could frame it differently.
Or, like, I don't get why we have to own it. Like, explain it to me like I'm 5, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we shouldn't have to be purchasing Greenland to have, like, nukes and a base there. Why can't we just have a base there?
Japan it,
like we said last week. And, like, paint the picture for them clearly. Like, you're a hot commodity. Everybody's fighting over you. Everybody's kind of like rubbing their hands together and making plans. We will defend you. You can keep your independence like Alexander the Great it. You get to be who you've always been with our protection. We just want a base.
Yeah, and
I don't understand. Like, Jesus. I'm not that savvy in politics or certainly not foreign policy. And I see the sense in that.
Well, and it's funny because I really didn't even mean to bring up Greenland so soon, but I just, I was using it as an example to be like, that's somebody I think is rational. They are telling you no, and they're not irrational for just saying like, hey, leave us alone.
Yeah, we would feel the same way if somebody was doing that to us. Yeah,
so I don't think it's necessary to like bully people who are rational. I think it's possible that you just go the diplomacy road, you find some common ground, and you give them a reason to agree, like, that is helpful to them. And I think that would be possible with Greenland if he didn't keep doing all this weird shit to them. But that said, the antithesis of Greenland is Iran. Like, these are not rational people. These are not people who treat their own constituents who they ignore with any kind of respect. They're killing them. So you think they're just going to come to a table and you can just have a nice little chat and find some common ground with terrorists who want to kill you? That's what's confusing to me. It's a completely different situation that is being treated entirely the same. And in fact, I think Trump is being not just as, but nearly as threatening to Greenland as he is to an enemy. It's like, why are you treating Greenland this way? So stupid.
Why are you treating Greenland this way and you're treating Iranians who love freedom and democracy this way? And let's get back to the subject at hand. You're treating dictatorship, theocratic, like horrible countries. Like you're all going to sit down and have a peace panel? Let's get back to the peace panel here.
And this is something that I've never understood. And I can fully admit that it could be that I'm just too ignorant and someone can write in and set me straight, like I'm ready for it. But I don't understand why we're so close with the Saudis who blew us up on September 11th. I don't understand why we are allowing Qatar to be based in Idaho when they won't let us use their bases. I don't understand giving billions of dollars to Iran. Why are you aiding the enemy, which is very clearly defined as treason? Margot's shaking her head in anger about it right now.
Our dog loves freedom.
She do.
Yeah, so what is the point of the peace panel? Why are we forming this?
I think it's ego. I will be the first to say that I think Trump is an egotist.
What is the purpose of the peace panel?
I think he wants to win a Nobel Peace Prize. I don't think he's rational enough to think that he can't be the person who brokers a peace deal in the Middle East because he wrote The Art of the Deal. I think he believes in it, but I think he's an idiot.
That's always the struggle with Trump, right? It's like there's plenty of people out there saying he's playing 3D chess. There's plenty of people saying that he's like a racist bigot. Like you get people on either end of the spectrum, but it's like, it's always a game of like, is he crazy?
The thing is,
like, I can't ever tell in any given moment. Like, I think he's nuts.
We've probably all known people who are all over the place, who one minute they might tell you, I got this great idea and I'm going to change my job. I'm going to start a business. And you're like, okay, cool. And then the next time you talk to them, they're like, nah, that was a dumb idea. I have a better one. And I feel like Trump is like that, but he's like that ruling over us. And so when he thinks something's a great idea, it might stick. Like, unfortunately, he thinks tariffs are a brilliant idea. I'm not 100% sure if he doesn't know what they are or if he's manipulating his cult into thinking they're good so he can tax the shit out of us because he is a leftist. It's pretty clear to me. So I think he's taxing us. He's got inflationary checks coming our way. I think he's...
We were talking about this earlier this week about mentally ill people. We're not making fun of them or blaming them for their illness, but like people with, like, let's say personality disorders. Like, do you realize that you're manipulating people and like being super like sadistic and pitting people against each other? Like, do you know you're doing it when you're doing it, or is it so much a part of who you are that you don't even realize it anymore? Like, it's just instinctual.
It's like a tick.
Right.
And the thing is,
I feel like they don't even know they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the answer here too. Like, does he realize what a boob and like what a chaotic, just insane person he is? I don't know.
like, he called himself the king of tariffs after there were no king's rallies.
Jesus.
And my thought is, so you're kind of rubbing their noses in it, or do you realize you are? And the second thing is, for everyone who knows that tariffs are taxes, you're a quote-unquote Republican president who just said, I'm the king of taxes. Like, as far as I'm concerned, down with George the Third. If you're the king of taxes, I'm revolting.
Well, I think suffice to say, this is second-term Trump, and just
unhinged.
Just when I think like he can't get more reckless, more stupefying, more unpredictable, more like senseless, like it's like a TV show, right? That you just keep watching. You're like, all the twists and turns are gonna like culminate and make sense, and it'll be like the most brilliant plot no one saw coming. Like the way people are thinking that Stranger Things, like the season finale is like there's gonna be a secret extra episode because there's whatever. Like they're getting conspiracy theories about their own show. These nerds. I feel like that's what's happening with anyone who's still hanging on to the Trump boat. Like, oh, any minute now we're going to see the genius of the, these last 6 years.
As soon as it became clear, because I was ready to be wrong. As soon as it became clear that he
wanted to be wrong.
Yeah.
I think we all did to some extent, right?
That he wasn't going to bomb Iran. I woke up, I was pissed, and I thought, if you still like this guy, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
And I can find nothing redeeming because he has this tendency to make a lot of like libertarian sounding promises. Like, how about we do this thing with mortgages where you can
have one for the rest of your life and the rest of your kids' lives?
Well, that's a bad one, see? But, like, he'll flip the other side of the coin and be like, no, you can carry with you that mortgage, like, like what you've paid into it can go forward into another property.
I see.
He'll play the other side of the coin because he gives people hope. But that's the same false hope that got him elected numerous times or got him the nomination. Just like, I'm going to do this thing with Doge. And then the person who got manipulated, I swear the worst in this entire country was Elon Musk. I think he threw everything he could at the guy, and he still wants his approval.
No.
And I feel like Elon is like the ex-girlfriend who was abused, who doesn't know when it's time to walk away.
I was going to say, I know this is a metaphor I use a lot, but it does have like relationship vibes when you're saying he's, promising to always change and like follow through and like, oh, just give me a little bit more time and then you'll be happy. It's like, no, this is like a bad boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And I think politicians in general are bad boyfriends that way. Like it's keeping you on the line, hoping for something that never, they can always dangle in front of you, but they never deliver on. So they always have that promise.
Yeah.
And, ugh.
And I've heard
it's rough.
I've heard the comparison, like the government is a bad boyfriend. He steals all your money. He makes you all these promises and he never comes through. But at the same time, it kind of reminds me of like the dad in Sunshine Cleaning. It's like, no, let me have all your money. Like, this is a get-rich-quick scheme. Like, I promise it's going to work out this time. And it never does.
It's a love scam.
It's a love scam.
The government is a love scam.
But what really sucks is that I hate the government. I never dated it, and it still keeps abusing me.
So, what's your orientation if you love the government, do you think?
Gay.
No offense to our gay listeners out there.
I don't know if we
what
have
if it's
any.
like, I don't know, bureaucratic sexual?
I think maybe like...
Bureausexual? Is that attracted to dressers?
I'm going to say something really offensive, I think. So we can cut this out maybe.
Yeah, note the timestamp.
But is there anybody who's like attracted to the idea of like making their partner like a living god or something like that? Because
I know when men do that to women, it's like the Madonna syndrome.
Oh, okay. So I feel like that's the closest thing we have to it. Like you treat the state as like...
Madonna.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you worship it. And then no matter how bad it treats you, like Madonna's a total dom and you're just eating it up.
Oh, wow. So Trump is Madonna.
Ugh. Oh my gosh. This is like crossing all kinds of wires in my brain. Why did I bring this up?
We'll never be the same.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we went all over the place because we were having an actual conversation. Like that happened pretty organically.
Yeah.
That we talked about a lot of things that we intended to. But on top of all of this, speaking of the government taking your money and treating you badly...
Let's really piss the listenership off. You're welcome.
Boy, howdy. Here's a clip for you.
Let me give you the perfect example. How about Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar? In February of this year, she shot down claims that she's actually a millionaire. She wrote, "My salary is $174,000 before taxes. I don't have stock or own a home. And I'm still paying off my student debt. So if you're going to lie on something that is public, maybe try checking my financial statements, and you will see I barely have thousands, let alone millions." Well, people have checked the public records now. Ilhan Omar apparently has a net worth upwards of $30 million, somewhere between $60 and $30 million. And get this, it's because of companies run and owned by her husband, who in 2023 had a net worth of $51,000. In 1 year, that $51,000 grew from $6 to $30 million. 3,500% growth in 1 year. What a good communist. It's always equality for you, elitism for those in power.
I bet that is a job. I didn't expect to have a serious answer for you, but I bet it's a job you can never put down. Like, you don't come home and get to kick up your feet.
I don't give a shit.
On call
it should be volunteer.
Well, okay.
And they give themselves raises all the time, even when the government's not open. Fuck these people. Hate them. Hate them all.
How does Ash really feel? A follow-up question for you. Is there any possibility whatsoever that her husband is really that good of a businessman?
If he was, why did he have $51,000 before that? I gotta doubt it. Especially when you consider where she comes from, which in that way, I mean Minnesota, not necessarily Somalia.
And another question for you that I promise is serious, and I don't mean to be inflammatory or derogatory. Is that her brother?
No.
Okay.
The brother was her first husband.
Right.
And he is a gay independent journalist. He points out that he saw her brother husband, after they divorced, on a gay dating site.
Okay, well, maybe it would make you gay if you married your sister.
I understand that weird things happen, but I certainly hope that they got married and it was just fraud. No hanky-panky.
Oh,
because we don't need that.
The world may never know, and we certainly don't deserve to want to. All right, so that being said, we don't think that the husband is that good of a businessman to have increased their net worth that much. And as overinflated as that salary of $174,000 a year is, it doesn't add up to what she has today. Of course, begging the question, where did it all come from?
And here's what is interesting. They have videos of her in those restaurants that were supposed to be feeding children, quote unquote, serving meals, and the restaurants were like shells. So she was part of the staging of it. She's part of the con. So why isn't she part of the fraud? That's the likely thing.
And no one's been charged as of yet, right? Including Tim Walz or anybody?
Correct. As Nick Shirley points out, we heard for probably months, an entire summer, about Aunt Becky from Full House paid off, a college to let her lose her kid in. This is a big deal. She's got to go to jail. And I thought, doesn't this shit happen all the time? And at least that's free market stuff. I don't know. They're paying people off for a spot at college. It seemed like a bigger deal. I don't know. They made a huge deal about it. Well, he said when they did that, it was nonstop coverage. When it's something like $600+ million a year being stolen from taxpayers, no one's talking about this.
I mean, people are talking about it, but it doesn't seem like anything's happening about it. It's oh my God, can you believe what's going on? And to be fair, I think I saw something to the effect of a whole committee or branch of the government, extra people and stuff had to be hired just to focus on this Minnesota issue. Is that right?
Yeah, I think they created an assistant attorney general just to investigate the fraud, supposedly. But to your point, they should have something to arrest someone by now, you would think.
Or at least, like, okay, if this was happening at anyone else's job, you would be suspended with or without pay. You would be suspended, basically, and someone else would have to take over while the investigation ensued. This has got to be one of the only industries where you get to keep doing your job and collecting money and, like, basically having free reign while they figure out if you, you know, defrauded billions of dollars from taxpayers.
Now you have Tim Walz basically doubling down on everything and having a pissing contest with Trump. There's actually a clip of him from today where there's a sheriff behind him at this press conference. And he goes, we have our constituents saying that they want our police officers to fight ICE. And the sheriff just sort of like raises his eyebrows like, the hell you say?
Don't speak for me, Timmy.
Yeah, and it's like, I haven't heard anything like that, is the look on his face, you know? And it's like, whether it's the ICE stuff or the fraud, to me, it's possible, you know, I don't know anything about those Craigslist protest, pay for protest things, but it's like, they probably encouraged people to go out and protest all the ICE stuff just to distract from the fraud.
Yeah, I mean, anything is better than what's actually going on in that state right now, I would think.
And now we are seeing this in a bunch of other states, and nobody should be surprised by that. And in fact, we have another example, another clip I'll show you right now.
Mamala just bought an $8 million Barbie Malibu dream house. Here are the highlights. Indoor-outdoor living, a spa bathroom with soaking tub, built-in speakers everywhere, perfect for Doug's spin class. Backyard gets even better. Full kitchen, private putting green, and of course, a big, beautiful fire pit. Because Malibu definitely needs more fires. It's been burnt to a crisp thanks to Democrats, but not Kamala's new neighborhood. It's untouched. Nice going. So Kamala squandered $2 billion in donor money, didn't win a single state, made the DNC pay off her debt, wrote a gossip book and blamed everyone else for her losing, and then splurged $8 million on a Malibu mansion. Not a great look.
I think it's funny that, I get the larger point of the clip, but he's like, you can tell sensationalizing it a little bit. Like, can you believe it? There are speakers installed throughout the home. And it's like, dude, I can afford speakers installed in my home. But I take the point. It's grossly not commensurate with what she should have been earning, with what her, you know, on paper earnings, her legal earnings are.
Yeah, we should note that Jesse Waters, he came up through Bill O'Reilly, and Bill O'Reilly was always over the top. He had patriots and pinheads, you know, like a segment about who was a patriot and who was an asshole on his show, and it was never good. And Jesse Waters, I think more often than not, he is both sensational and mean. Like, he tends to be mean to whoever's the person on the left on the panel in a way that I think is sometimes just unnecessary, like when you're having a debate. I don't think he's that smart, but to Hannah's point, where does this money come from? You know, I've always been suspicious of it, even going back to the Clintons. You know, it's like she'll claim we were house poor when we left the White House, and we got all this money from speaking engagements. It's like, how often do you speak? Do you speak so much that your throat is dry? I don't know if I believe you. I really think politicians from all walks of life are just screwing us over. And as Hannah pointed out earlier, they can't really be believed. They say one thing, they do another, and you really shouldn't have any heroes in politics. They are not to be trusted, especially when our money is the honeypot.
Maybe this is just like the bias of my age and my experience talking. Maybe this is something that has been going on for dozens, if not hundreds of years. It seems like there was a time, at least, where it was like political ambition was people who lusted after power, right? Like fame or power or influence, like that was what you were going for. That's what came with the office. But I feel like in my less than 40, but an undisclosed amount of years of life, I'm seeing a shift away from that and more toward just plain fucking money.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand the cutthroat behavior and the like pure unadulterated ambition a little bit more when it's just dollar signs they're going for. It's not even necessarily influence in and of itself, but an influence to give you more money.
Yeah.
Or like you look at somebody like the Bidens or the Clintons or the Trumps, and what kind of legacy could you hope to have? Like, you're not trying to preserve your integrity or be known to be like a great orator or a great like peace negotiator per se. You don't necessarily want a resume. I feel like the way they used to at least pretend that they wanted. Now it's dollar signs. Maybe I'm naive for thinking that. Maybe I'm just getting older and wiser.
No, I think it's pretty interesting that Obama has a mansion in Hawaii, that Biden is probably drooling and shitting his pants, but he, I'm sure, has more money than we'll ever know he has.
And Jill certainly does.
Yeah, and Hunter too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And one of his exes is actually trying to get him sent to jail now because he won't pay child support.
Hunter's exes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just so interesting to me that, like, you would think that if you're going to be a U.S. president and go down in history, you'd want something nice to be said about you. But maybe it's just that these aren't religious people, YOLO, and they want to get as much money as they possibly can, and that's all it is. It's for them and for their families, and to hell with the rest of us.
Yeah, I feel like it's just becoming sloppier and more transparent than I'm used to seeing personally, you know. And again, maybe it's just me getting older. Maybe it's always been this way, but it feels like a shift.
Yeah, it's so weird to me that, like, yeah, presidents used to have ranches and stuff. You know, like Reagan had a ranch and W has a ranch. And I don't know necessarily that they could have gotten the money to have a ranch with whatever they made or whatever they did before that. But it's interesting to hear Billy Bush. I think he was on like Entertainment Tonight or something, but he's a cousin of George W. Bush. Goes on Bill Maher, and he tells Bill Maher, you should have W on. He's like, he would sit with you. Doesn't care if you smoke weed and have a drink. Like, he's the most laid back, cool guy, and you should have him on. And he goes,
does seem like a chill dude.
He goes, can you get him on? Oh. And I thought, like, that'd be great. Like, I can't, even though Bill Maher, like, he went off the reservation left because of W. I feel like he wouldn't be a dick. I feel like he might ask him some tough questions, but I feel like he'd be grateful to have him on, like, to have a real-ass conversation with W. And as much as I hated W when he was president, especially his second term, I feel like who he is in old age is what presidents were supposed to be. Like, he's riding bikes with veterans and painting dogs.
Painting dogs?
Yeah, he's a painter.
Oh my god, I thought you meant like putting paint on dogs.
No,
like,
no,
this
no.
doesn't sound very good, Ash. I don't know if we should be endorsing this.
No, so he like paints a dog that looks like Margot, or a little scruffy dog. Oh. And Billy Bush says, have him on, he'll paint a portrait of you.
Oh my god.
He'll paint a portrait of Bill Maher. I was like, I'd pay good money to see this.
I think you could have that done and then auction it off in 100 years for like $5 million.
It's like, no, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan never should have happened. And no, they're probably not 100% W's fault. There's probably a lot of Cheney in there. But they happened, and I feel like Bush's faults are
faults that result from him being too easily influenced or asleep at the wheel. They're not like they're not like his own plans of malicious intent. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that necessarily makes it any better for the people on the receiving end of it. It might even make it worse. But for whatever it's worth, I think he came by his missteps, honestly.
Yeah, and I think you could say the same of, like, Ronald Reagan made mistakes, but I think something that's missing from these new leaders is that they might have been the last couple of guys who loved America and had at least good intentions for us. And look at what adorable old men they became. I mean, Ronald Reagan was an adorable old man when he was president because he was that old and then eventually got dementia. But when you look at Biden, he's being led around in his dementia to make more money for, you know, enriching the people around him.
It's hard to watch that. Like, whether you voted for him or not. And, like, listen, confession time. It was a different time in my life. I did vote for him. No matter your feelings on the guy today, it feels like elder abuse, what they're doing to him. Like, I feel bad for him.
I'd feel bad for him if I didn't think he'd always been a turd. You know, like, if he had been a good person at one point, I think I would feel really bad. Like, if somebody was doing this to Ronald Reagan, I'd be pissed.
Well, yeah, I feel like that would be, like, intervention time. For me, like, seeing this happen to somebody who probably deserves it is, like, somebody should do something, but maybe not me.
All that said, it's like, W is an old man you'd hope a president would become, where he's just like, I stepped away. I'm not going to give you my opinion on stuff because I don't hold that office anymore. Mm-hmm. But I will paint a portrait of you or your dog. It's adorable, and I will build a school in Africa.
And I think the same things that make him an adorable ex-president made him a terrible president.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess it worked out for him in the long run. He had a bad... Was he a two-termer? He was. He had a bad 8 years, but he's great now.
The funny thing was, like, I don't envy his position. It's like, you got elected, you sworn in January, September 11th.
Oof, yeah.
It's a rough time, man.
That is rough.
And then a financial crisis that followed. But all that said, like, I miss people being in charge who loved the country more than they loved themselves.
Who wanted the office for the difference they could make, you know, whatever that may be, instead of for the money they could make.
And think about Kennedy. Like, he has the best quote about that. Ask not what your country can do for you. And he died for his country. And it's like, the guy cut income tax when it was like 90%. It was absurd amount of tax people were paying. And he was a Democrat at that time. But that's probably why they killed him.
Yeah.
And all that said, it's like, you can't say that there are not people who had good intentions, who sacrificed something. But I feel like those people are gone.
Yeah, for sure. I think plenty of them, and probably most of them, whether or not I agreed with their goals, they had good intentions in the changes they thought they could make.
Yeah.
I just don't think that that's the end goal for the people we're seeing wheeled out today.
No. And that's what makes me wonder about, like, what happens next. Like, we know where we are, but it's like, could somebody surprise us? Like, could a Marco Rubio 2028 be...
Don't jinx it, Ash.
I know. Especially not if he's hanging out with Tucker at the White House.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Anyway, I think the takeaway from this episode should be, hey, what happened to nice people? We should bring them back. Because I miss them.
I miss the integrity.
Yes.
I miss... Whatever, I'm going to sound like I'm 1,000 years old. I'm my own grandfather. What happened to honesty and integrity and patriotism? That's not a very popular line these days, but I guess I see why old people say it. I miss it.
Yeah, and Hannah actually brings me to a thought. It's like, what happened to values over like bullies who have the best taglines getting elected. It used to be like, hey, this person seems capable. I think they're going to do what they are saying they're going to do. I think I'll vote for them. And now it's changed.
I'll be the asshole who says it. I think what happened is like TikTok culture.
The
like you
soundbite.
you have the attention span of a goldfish, and you don't really care what's being said. You care about the flashy presentation, and in 30 seconds you're bored and you want something else flashy like dangled in front of your face, and people know that and they play to it and it works.
And really, like, you just hit the nail on the head, because I just said at the beginning of this that I can't watch a long form podcast. Like, I know I don't have the attention span for people that I really like for 4 hours.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's exactly apples to apples. 4 hours is a ridiculous form of podcast. To your point, like, it's not like you can sit there and enjoy it in pieces, because it's all topical and you have to digest it to be current and up to date. I see your joke and like your humor, but like, be easy on yourself. That's not fair.
And to your point, I can like watch a presidential debate. They're kind of long-winded. They're like 3.5 hours, but they break it up over a bunch of different topics. So really, it's like you watch the topic, you take your pee break, and then you move on with your life. So it's not that necessarily everybody can't handle substance anymore, but if they're making shows so that you can scroll while you're watching it,
purposefully designing them so you can be on your phone and not feel like you're missing the plot. And like, we're all seeing it, right? Like, we're seeing the consequence at the theater and in like shit like The Summer I Turned Pretty and all the other garbage that gets thrown up on the screen. But the fact is, they're purposefully designing shows for people who are only half paying attention. And this is why, and this is the result. And now our politics are for people who just, like you said, want to chase the soundbite or get the flashy headline.
And I think they're smart about the way that they're doing it too. Like, I see more like pop-ups on Facebook, or back when I used to have cable, like ads on TV about it, like vote. It's your civic duty. It's your right. Like, you got to do it. And it's like, no, wait. Some of these people are only paying attention to sound bites, read a headline, but they don't know anything about what's in the article, and they're voting.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just like...
And if they're not voting in the poll, they're voting in the court of public opinion, and we see every day how that turns out. We see every day, like, here's the facts of what happened, but overwhelmingly the majority of people believe a different version of events, or, like, have an opinion about it based on zeitgeist, based on nothing.
Yeah. It was weird, this exchange today between Carolyn Leavitt, the press secretary, and some journalist with an accent who I'm not sure if he was American or like representing a foreign paper or something. But he asked a question about Renee Good, and it was sort of like you could tell he was pissed off about it. And it was not just the question, but like the way he framed it or whatever. So she says, why do you think she died? She asked the press secretary asked a journalist a question, and he said that it was like police brutality. And she goes, so you're a journalist and you just asked me a really weirdly framed question, and then you just said she died because of police brutality. She goes, do you consider yourself unbiased as a journalist? And it was like this weird fiery exchange, and it's like you can kind of see both sides, that like she's a biased press runner.
Yeah, everybody's biased to some degree.
And she just moved on, really, like after, like she defended the officer and everything, but it was just sort of like, people are going to watch this exchange in two very different ways depending on what they already think about this. And like Hannah points that out. It's like everybody has their own bias, and you're going to vote for who you're going to vote for, and maybe we're to a place where the facts aren't changing much, and whether people have integrity isn't changing much, because as you point out, all this team stuff it's like tearing everything that is substantive apart.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Yeah, it's I feel like an old person more and more every day, and it's not just because of my lower back. Like, I feel like the world around us, and maybe this is just middle age, like the world around us is changing in a way that I don't think we'll ever go back to the way it was, and maybe that's just the way time treats us as humans. But I can't help but worry about the implications. It doesn't feel like it's improving. I don't see a lot of like positive to balance out what I am observing. Maybe that's a me problem, and I can work on that. But more and more, I see why people get old and crotchety, why they complain, why they compare everything to how things were when they were in their 20s. It's humbling, because I think with that comes like a big realization of like, oh, this is how old happens. Like, maybe, I think the most reasonable explanation is that I'm getting older, and like not necessarily that people have changed, but that I have changed. That's the most reasonable conclusion. And it's sad, and it's kind of lonely.
Yeah. Well, do you know what I mean if I said that I think some people can like their party and they can do this their whole lives, but if you kind of shed that naivete of like, if I don't like one side, I can just move to the other. And then if you did that even once and realized, wait a minute, it sucks over here too. Then if you're one of those people in the middle, you're kind of like embittered, and you look at the people around you like, no, you're really naive, and I can't tell you because ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, I think, I'm always comparing stuff in politics to religion, because that's like my touchstone is like the way I was raised. But yeah, you point out something that doesn't make sense to the wrong person, and it has the potential to shake their world and their entire like body of life choices. Yeah. And understandably, when you put it in that light, it makes them incredibly angry and defensive and volatile. So I think that's true of religion, and I know it's true of politics. Like,
and I don't know necessarily.
People don't want to wake up, and
yeah,
it's not fun. It's uncomfortable and it sucks. So I don't blame them.
Yeah. I don't know if you've experienced it, because I know that we've had similar experiences at work, say, where people are like assuming your politics. Or...
Oh, for sure. Anyone finds out I'm married to a woman, they think they know everything about my belief system as a whole. Yeah.
But I guess here's like another question. Have you ever had somebody assume your politics because you either asked a question or disagreed with one premise that they put out there, and they're not necessarily right, but all of a sudden they assume you're the enemy, like you're on the other side of them and everything?
I will say more recently I've had the opposite happen.
Really?
Where I didn't like something in a headline, and I made just like a quick little like joke about it that like I felt like was relatively neutral, but somebody took it their own way, colored in their own experiences and their own bias, and just assumed that I hated Trump, for instance. Okay. And spent the rest of the conversation just like tearing him to shreds, and then also bringing up ICE, and also bringing up Minnesota, and also bringing up like all these other things. And I was just like, this is a train I didn't intend to get on, and I don't know how to stop it.
Hannah tells a story about somebody who was, if this is okay to tell, doing your hair or cutting it or something.
Oh my gosh, this was wild, yeah. And
like makes an assumption that, I don't know, all white people are just like me, and so I can be a racist in front of you? She was incredibly racist and using derogatory language, and I'm like stuck in this chair, right? And this, that's exactly what happened. So for like the next 2 hours, I just heard her dropping like the N-word, and it was wild. She was recommended to me by a friend. Like as a personal recommendation. I was in this woman's home getting my hair cut based on my friend's recommendation. And so my friend asked me about it later, and I was like, I
I was pretty uncomfortable, actually, and I did end up telling the friend. I was like, this is what happened. And, like, I think it kind of clicked for her in that moment in a way that made me think about my friend differently. Like, a recognition of, like, yeah, she did realize that that person was like that, but she didn't think it was a big enough deal to stop her from recommending her to me.
Gotcha.
To the point where it's like, oh, are you just used to being around people like this? Like, my friend was a decent person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect her to use that kind of language. But this is way off track. But I remember that whole experience put a little bit of distance between me and that person.
Yeah, to me, that, even though it's obviously very different, it would be like if somebody that you knew, like, was like, hey, you should go to this dentist or whatever, but all the dentist talked about was how much he hates bisexuals, you know?
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I didn't think about it. And it's like, well, maybe you didn't think about it, but,
But you probably should.
you probably should. And yeah, it can be really awkward. People don't know anything about you, but they're willing to just let their guard down completely when they make an assumption of what you must be like without making any effort to know who you actually are. And like Hannah I think you beautifully pointed out, that can go one of two ways. Like, either they assume like you definitely hate Trump, like they hate Trump, so they can talk about anything, anything leftist under the sun, and you're going to agree with them. Or like if you said something like, oh yeah, I saw that thing in Michigan where Trump flipped a guy off, you know, like that was pretty funny. Like if you didn't have strong feelings about it, or you kind of like, huh? And it's like, oh, you like him? You think that's presidential? It's like, calm down. I didn't mean anything by it. Like, what the hell?
Calm down. I don't know the guy. Maybe he deserved it.
Or like, yeah, just because you voted for him doesn't mean you like him. I voted for him. I fucking hate him.
Yeah, I mean, anymore when you consider, like, sometimes our choices are that bad, where it's like, you're right, even the way you vote doesn't necessarily mean well, it certainly doesn't mean you take a politician, like, whole hog, but it might not mean that you like most of what they stand for anyway. It's just better than the alternative.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't even have any good choices. Like,
sometimes all we have are poisonous, fucked up choices.
Exactly. I voted for Libertarians or like Evan McMullen, and I'm like, learned after the fact he can't even manage his campaign money, and you're like, oh fuck. At least I didn't vote for Clinton or Trump that time, I guess.
Yeah. At least you could sleep at night and shave your own face.
There are times, definitely. It's like, can I just not vote this time?
Yeah.
And then you feel like, well, I don't want no say.
When I think about, and you can, listener at home, you can fill in the blank here with your name of choice. When I think about the fact that blank is out there voting, it's like, no, I need to put my shoes on and go to the poll. And if I do nothing else, I'm counteracting this person's vote. And you know who it is. You know, as I'm telling this story, who you vote for.
Yeah, it's a good point. Hannah makes a good point. So I think definitely we're done. But I would say, you want to do a poll this time, Hannah? We haven't done a poll in a while.
Sure, we could do a poll. I haven't thought of a poll.
Maybe our poll this time should be, do you think it's fair to annex Greenland, to only put, a base there if they say it's okay, or do you think it's best that we just leave them alone?
Yeah, options A, B, C. We take it, we totally leave it,
or we wait until they're happy.
A base, yeah.
Okay, so it's the Greenland thing. I feel bad for Greenland. And
I do too. I feel like they've been able to keep their heads down and stay under the radar for a long time. Like, you didn't hear about Greenland in World War II. Greenland doesn't have civil wars, doesn't seem to have humanitarian crises. I think what I know about Greenland is that they have excellent genealogy records. That might be Iceland. I honestly don't know.
Cool.
And I know that the name Greenland was like meant to be a red herring and keep the Saxons from like taking Iceland or something. The point is, they're quiet, peace-loving, independent, westernized. They don't deserve this.
Yeah.
It's like picking on Rhode Island. Like, who the fuck are they?
I will say one thing. Rhode Island's beautiful.
See? Yeah, leave it alone.
Leave
it's
it
fine.
alone.
It's so small.
And maybe Greenland's beautiful, and we should leave that alone too. So,
yeah. Anyway, guys, hit us up on the poll. Let us know what you think about Greenland. Let us know what you think about our show. You have something you agree with, you disagree with. We want to hear from you. You can write to us at
red, white, and, the word and, red, white, and by @gmail.com. Leave Greenland alone.
bye.
Bye.